That's what's up.
And we're live. We're recording.
Yeah, we're live, man. Finally. Our first ever podcast.
Cheers, bro.
Fuck. Yeah. Took a while to get here. Actually, even the settings. Anyway, we don't even know what's going to work, but it's our first episode. So,
first one, guys.
Welcome. Hi to y'all. Hopefully you're all having a good time. Maybe you're listening to this on your way to work or home from work or whatever.
In the car, at home, yeah.
Wherever, man. We're live. Well, not really. So everything you're going to be seeing has already been recorded. So I don't know when this is going to come out, but usually it'll come out within like a week or so, if not a day. I'm hoping not to edit too much, you know. The whole point here is that we're just trying to have fun. And we're just going to talk. I don't have an agenda. We don't have an agenda when it comes to these podcasts. So it's just a matter of us like talking and just doing whatever, you know, having a beer or whatever.
We're having a beer right now, guys. This is, should I mention the brand, Tim? No.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. This is Triple Carmelite. It's a Belgian. Really nice Belgian. Tim's new favorite.
Oh, fuck, man. This beer is really
This
good.
has been my favorite for a while, ever since I started working at a leading organic grocery store. You guys can guess.
Yeah, man. We're not going to talk too much shop, but heck, it's really good, man. I think I had this beer first when we went to Father's office.
Yeah,
really
man.
It's really good.
I was surprised to see it on the menu.
Actually, the reason why we went to Father's office was because we were celebrating our album.
Album, yeah.
We finished our album.
It's true.
If you guys know or don't know, we had an album that came out, and it came out July 13th. We actually finished it on the 28th of June. And it was quite a process, man. Like, and I was, some people ask me like, how did you make this album? And some people ask like, oh, you only made like 5 songs. And I'll be like, look,
technically, I guess lengthwise, it's just an EP. Wait, no, we are calling it an EP.
Yeah,
that's what it says on the title. But, fun fact for you guys listening: the album was conceived, recorded, and mixed, and all that technical stuff, all the fun stuff here in this garage.
Yeah,
here in this very studio.
Yeah, man, this is our garage studio here, where we're just kind of like we make everything here. So like, all the ideas and all that, they kind of start here, they originate here, they finish here. So, at some point we'd like to move to a better, maybe more air conditioned place.
Yeah,
you can't tell. It's the valley right now. It's hot.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's where
we're
we're
in the sweat right here. Very hot. It's cooling down though. It's cooling down. What time is it now?
It's all right.
It's almost 5:00 here in Arleta, California. It's nice.
Hey, you know what? Like here in California, we only have like 2 seasons. It's like hot for like 11 months and cold for like 1, maybe 1.5.
You gotta love it though. I mean, I personally, the only time I've lived out of state was when I went to college in Boston, and oh man, I experienced the 4 seasons there. You go outside in fall, you can see like the leaves, the reds and the oranges, and all the whole color spectrum. And then when winter hit, oh man, snowed in 3-foot snow.
Oh man!
And I was unprepared without snow boots. I was like, I learned my lesson real quick.
I had somebody that I worked with. He lived in Chicago for a little bit, and he was telling me like, when you're new to the snow or when you're visiting for snow, it's totally different than living in the snow. Because he would say like, oh yeah, what I loved about the snow is like playing in it and all this stuff, but snow is actually a major inconvenience. Where he was saying like you gotta shovel it.
You have to ice your car in the morning. So if you're leaving for work, you have to de-ice your car.
Yeah, that's another part of it too. Is like de-icing your car, right?
Yeah, screw that. We don't deal with that at all.
Yeah, that's like de-icing. You can't like put hot water on a cold windshield because otherwise the windshield will crack.
I thought that was a myth.
No, it's true because apparently the way it works is like because it's tempered glass, right? So it's highly compressed glass. When you present like a drastic
temperature change.
It could fuck with it,
shit.
and it'll just crack it. I've never actually seen it myself. I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube video out there. You could just YouTube that stuff. I YouTube like the guys like throwing spark plug chunks.
Yeah, dude, I was literally gonna bring that up. I was literally gonna bring that up, Tim. Like, I saw that. I don't know. I think I may have saw it on Instagram or maybe on like one of those viral like promoted YouTube videos that get a lot of views. But like, it's true. I saw it. You saw it. It actually works.
Yeah, no, it's pretty nuts.
I wonder if it's the shape of the material. Is it the material, the chemical composition, and of the material itself? It's the metal. It's so weird.
I'm no expert in anything. Like I don't really know.
Guys, on this podcast, we're not claiming to be experts. You know, I've been friends with Tim for a while. I've known him for a while. Him and I kind of have this reciprocal like friendship where we know a lot of stuff. We share information. We also share misinformation. We kind of like sometimes poke fun at that or whatever. But it's kind of cool. I hope in the future we get to have guests that know a lot of stuff and get to like kind of shed light on things.
Well, I mean,
you know?
yeah, there's probably going to be people who know more than we do. You know, there's a lot of those people for me. I'm no expert. Like I feel like I'm a jack of a lot of trades and a master of like hardly any, if anything.
I think that's the way to live. Why would you?
Yeah, would you rather have like only one style of food, even though it's really good, or mediocre versions of everything else?
And people say that it's like I only eat this, or my favorite is this. Like, no, you have a bunch of favorites. Like, there's no way.
I have a friend.
There's no way.
I have a friend who actually her husband. He's the nice guy. I mean, I want her to be on this podcast eventually.
Nice.
But I know her husband to be a guy who doesn't really deviate from what he likes to eat.
He only eats pizza.
Or something, you know, like I don't know if it's pizza, but you know, I'm paraphrasing, but like he only likes to eat like burgers or whatever. You know, it's like normal food, normal to Americans anyway.
Yeah.
So like I think he likes to stick to that kind of food, and it really sucks because it's like.
So interesting.
I feel like you're just kind of robbing yourself of a lot of life's pleasures, you know, like there's a lot of great things to eat out there. Now, granted, I don't like to eat bugs. You don't have to go that exotic, but like he doesn't even want to try, like we're Filipino, right?
He does not want to try Filipino food.
He probably does try it, but if it's like with meat and stuff like bistec or something, I don't know. I'm going to have her here. She can talk about it. But like, could you imagine just being that kind of guy where it's like, I don't want to eat anything other than like a double or something like In-N-Out. Yeah. Like if you couldn't guess, we're from California. We really like to eat, you know, like we like food and stuff. But yeah, man, like I can't imagine just having like nothing but like regular food. But then also like I can see some people when they do that to work out. Like I know people who have like a strict diet and they don't want to like ruin their weight loss, or they don't want to ruin their
or they're on very specific diets.
Like if they're working out or keto or vegan, whatever. I'll never go vegan, but you know, I just don't want to go vegan, man. There's just it's like another form of like being that guy where it's like you don't want to eat anything else, or it's That's like, wouldn't you want to try eating some other stuff or whatever? I don't know, you know. I love food.
You know,
I'm fat. So
speaking of food, I had this is not talking shop. So, but a coworker of mine, upper management, he is used to be a chef, and he's my manager, so to speak. But he used to be a chef. He has a crap ton of like culinary experience. But the reason why, and I think I believe him on this, but the reason why babies like sweet stuff is when you're a baby, your taste receptors when you're in that infancy stage is only the sweet part of your tongue, the sweet part of your palate. So when you feed babies like broccoli, like, what is this? You know, it's like, you know, or anything sour or anything that's not sweet.
Is that true? Like kids when they grow up, it's only like that?
I feel like pulling it up on my phone right now or on the computer, but I think it's
someone can look that up.
Yeah, someone's gonna look that up. But you guys, wherever, if there's a comment section, maybe we'll enable it for this thing. But that's like the first the first batch of taste receptors on your tongue that are developed first. Oops, I knocked my beer here. Tim, I'm hearing a little resonance from this.
Maybe we
this
just
table.
put our beer on the table instead.
Again,
But okay,
really
so like
beer.
what you're saying is you heard that
That's the first taste receptor.
Taste
Sweet.
receptor.
And I think it's also the biggest. Like, imagine your tongue as a map, but that's the biggest state on the country of the United States, if you will, on your tongue. Our sweet receptors are probably the biggest.
You know, that's funny you say that. So I wonder if that has a lot to do with the obesity rates we have here.
Oh man, we
in
were
America,
just talking about
which,
this
you know,
morning. Guys, we
I
had
know.
Denny's this morning.
Yeah, we went to
Full
Denny's.
disclaimer.
This guy got an oil change, and in the meantime, instead of like waiting around, he was just like, "All right, you know,
I'm glad we went, man. I had a
pick me
steak.
up. We need to get another set of headphones." We were trying to get ready for this podcast, essentially. So
Yeah.
you know, and it's not like we're showing up here with like a suit and tie. Like I'm wearing fucking Adidas shorts and a Texaco shirt. It's not like I'm super prepared for this or anything. But it's just like that's the kind of vibe that we're trying to portray here. Is that it's just us people like hanging out and talking. Like we would just talk like
people.
this normally, you know. And it just so happens maybe there's at least one person out there who's listening to this podcast. But anyway,
That'd
like,
be nice.
Yeah,
Just
that'd
one
be
person.
that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, like childhood
taste.
obesity, right?
Oh, shoot.
So like, you know, I wonder if
Insert
like
fast food restaurant here.
no, because
any-
like
any of them.
if your first taste receptors, and I'm just thinking out loud, if your first taste receptors are sweet receptors, and that's I don't know what you want to taste, it's like we all know like what sugar does to the body, right? And this is Googleable. Again, I'm no expert here, but as far as
Guys.
from what I know, you know, when you eat sweet food, your body compensates, and what it does is it tells the pancreas to release insulin, assuming your body's working, you know,
Like
normally.
normally, yeah.
Right.
You're not-
So the insulin does two things that I know. So one is that it helps use this energy, kind of like a key.
Yeah.
It uses this energy, this glucose, this sugar in your blood, and it makes it so that your muscles can use them as energy. But what it also does is that it also opens opens you to being fat. Layman's terms, basically, like insulin, once it reaches a certain point, like also along with making sure your body uses sugar, it also helps your body accumulate fat and store
I
this
see.
excess energy, sometimes in the form of fat, which sucks. And this is the reason why people who have a lot of sugar tend to like get fatter. You know,
Because their ability to store it becomes less.
well, there's a lot that happens, you know. And again, this is all like off YouTube and off like Google and shit.
True.
But basically, like, yeah, that's why the standard American diet sucks, I think. Because it's like you're supposed to eat 3 square meals a day in the standard American diet,
quote unquote.
and you can you're supposed to, whatever that means, right? And then also like what sucks also about that is like, you know, the standard American diet, yeah, and then you have dessert. It's like, imagine you have like a full-on steak dinner and like potatoes and whatever, maybe like hardly any veggies. And they give you like the worst veggies. You know, they don't, you know, and on
Just
top of that, you have all this fat.
That's a bad way.
And then you eat ice cream or apple pie a la mode, which is really good.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. But anyway, you eat that kind of stuff and it's like, cool. Now you're going to like, your body has to produce insulin to like bring the sugar down, but now it's also going to help store this fat.
I see.
So, you know, that's what kind of sucks.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, man, the standard American diet's no good. Like,
But I wonder. Well, in other countries, I imagine they only they only eat 2 meals a day, or they break it down and do like more meals but smaller portions, because American portions are huge.
oh yeah, man.
Big.
Like, I knew this first when I was in high school. Actually, yeah, when I was in high school or just coming out of high school, I went to the Philippines. You know, because you know we're Filipino.
Yep.
Our families,
we're Filipino, guys.
our families are Filipino. So like when I went back home to the Philippines, when I went back home to the Philippines, I noticed that the portions are just way smaller. You know, when you go
went
to
to
when you go to McDonald's here, this is a small. Like this right here is a small. Like I can't believe this is like. I mean, I guess it's small, but maybe that's just my American brain.
Yeah, so
You know?
wait, I did hear that if you go to Shakey's Pizza Parlor, Shakey's the the pizza place.
Yeah.
They're what's the equivalent? Their large there is like a small here.
Yeah, dude.
Like
No, seriously,
between a small and a
man.
medium.
When I went to get a small at McDonald's in the Philippines, it was like that fucking like mouthwash cup.
You're like, is this a Happy Meal? No.
Oh, sorry.
No. Was it? It was that small?
Dude, it was like unbelievably small. And it was just like, maybe this is what small means to the rest of the world, which it actually is small. You know, like,
man.
and then something like this is like large to them.
Dude, to be honest
nuts,
with you,
right?
this is a 12 ounce glass. This is small to me. Like,
Is it a 12 ounce? Well, shit, it's a really dope glass.
yeah. No, it's probably less because that beer bottle that we poured into here, the triple Carmelite, best beer. I think that's a 12 ounce glass, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
It's
I
pretty
mean,
standard.
to me, at least in my American brain, that's small.
That's
Because
how we grew up.
I know that's just
That's
how we grew up. This is our
guys.
country, you guys.
Oh
Like,
man.
I think we're.
Oh, I've never seen Super Size Me
Oh,
When that came out-
they made us watch that in high
in school, right? I think I didn't have the class where they forced us. There was some other class. I think it might have been an anatomy or something, but I've never seen it before.
Dude, Super Size Me was a really funny movie.
Is it?
And it was funny, right? There was this other guy in my class at the time. It was funny. So the basis of this movie, spoiler alert if you've never watched it, but not that I don't know if you would watch it now, but it's still relevant. So I think McDonald's had a campaign at one point where they were talking about, or where they had, small, medium, large, and then super size, right? Super size is like the maximum. Like I guess it's like it's like Starbucks having more the Trenta and on top of the
Trenta is
venti.
supersized,
and
man.
the fucking Trenta's big, bro. But anyway, main point.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like McDonald's had that, right, where they were talking about that kind of stuff and like supersizing. This guy spent a whole month eating just McDonald's, and if supersize
man.
was offered to him for any portion, he had to say yes.
Oh my god.
And he had to do his best to finish every single meal.
Jeez.
Yeah, man. So like I remember
Social
like not even a
experiment.
week into it. Yeah, it's a social experiment
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah.
A week into it, like so he did like a health check before, and he was like a totally normal guy,
Yeah.
right? And I think
Average-
what he
average.
was, he was like a normal average guy, and it was okay. Then like through the course of the month, like he ate McDonald's 3 times a day, and if he was offered supersized, he had to say yes.
Oh my god.
And so he did. And so it was just like really funny. He was just like, dude, really? That's nuts, dude. Oh my gosh.
man.
I couldn't believe it. But like at the end of the whole thing, like not even a week into it, I think he threw up. He was just like, ugh. He was in his car eating and he threw up out the window.
Was it for
Yeah, it was bad.
Was it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yeah, dude.
Jeez.
But McDonald's
sounds really
breakfast is
good.
so fucking good, man.
Yeah,
so
man.
good.
I could really go for a hash brown right now.
Do they have those 24/7?
Yes, they do.
Do they?
Thank you, McDonald's, for the 24-hour breakfast and 24-hour drive-through on participating
God.
McDonald's.
That's
But,
nuts.
So I work for a leading organic grocer. Everything they sell, doesn't have high fructose corn syrup. Also,
that's good.
everything's non-GMO. So, what does that mean? Genetically modified organisms. So no like extra hormonal injections or whatever they put in animals, and just nothing artificial. I think they still sell everything natural, but maybe that's what makes you obese. Maybe it's not the sodium content and the sugar content in there, but maybe it's like the GMOs that's kind of tricking our body. Not trying to make this episode food thing, but
It's nothing.
It took a turn.
We've just like, dude, I don't even know what we're saying. We're just saying stuff just to say it.
yeah.
Sorry, guys. We have a recording limit too, which actually really sucks.
Damn you, Canon.
I know. Well,
Is it like that?
I really think these camera companies, like Sony's already done it, man. Sony's already made a camera where it's not gonna be doing that stuff. We're trying a lot of Belgian beer. So right now,
This one is Chimay Gold.
Chimay Gold.
This is I think this one's the lightest of the bunch. There's the blue label one, which I think is a reserve, and the red one is like maybe like a regular version or something. But it's not as heady. Not as heady
as the triple Carmelite, but oh man, I don't know why it's good. No, the aftertaste. No,
it's so funny.
not as good as not as good as the triple Carmelite, but still pretty good.
It's brighter.
Look, I'm not an IPA guy. Never was, never will be. But this guy loves IPAs.
We'll bring on some hop heads, some beer advocates.
When we have one of our guys, he's a dad now, but it's like Mig. I'm pretty sure he'd love to come here and talk about beer.
There's on the sort of previous segment we were talking about like food, but man, there's so many ways to explain music and food. Music and food go hand in hand. Like I could say, like I'm a drummer. I play drums. Mm-hmm. We all play drums.
I'm shit at drums,
but we all know how to play. I mean, so
roughly,
like there's if you have a cymbal, right? An adjective I could describe the sound of the cymbal is like, oh, this one sounds dry. But isn't it crazy? It's interesting how you could say, oh, this wine is dry, or this beer is dry, or the cymbal's dry. Like that same adjective is just descriptive for both food and like an intangible like a thing, a sound. That's so crazy to me,
Yeah.
Or wet, or
Right.
Or bright, bright.
There are certain ways to describe things. It's the same with like photography, right? And somewhat videography. Because if you think about it, like if you describe something as warm, it's usually like orange.
Yeah, hues of yellow and orange.
And it's just kind of like, and when you describe something as cold, it's like blue.
Yeah,
or like cool.
But then the color of ice just depicted, it's like kind of white bluish, like
like Sub-Zero. Like Sub-Zero is like, it's hard to imagine Sub-Zero as like Scorpion, like yellow or red. And obviously Scorpion's fire, so he has to be yellow or orange or whatever the heck he is.
That's what it is on the color spectrum too.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys can tell, we love Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Mortal Kombat, like Keith, our drummer, he fucking loves Mortal Kombat. Like I love Mortal Kombat,
dude. I had it for Super Nintendo until my dad lost he was trying to fix the like RF modulator. Are you guys old enough to know that? Remember the you plugged in your Super Nintendo and then it had to be on channel 3 or 4, and then you had to select.
Oh yeah, man.
The RF modulator.
Oh my god!
Made it so that your Super Nintendo would connect via the television channel, and then that's how it worked.
Dude, I remember that. Like, I'm just thinking about right now. Like, I grew up with my grandparents. Both my parents, they worked. So whenever they worked, I couldn't stay at home.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't old enough yet. Whatever. I didn't.
Whatever the age was.
Whatever the age was. I think it was like 14 if we started going to like high school, like we were deemed okay to say whatever.
Freshman year high school,
like
I could stay home.
Everything in elementary school, I was staying with my grandparents, and I would always bring my like Nintendo or my PlayStation.
This is so funny,
and it's just like I would bring it over to my grandparents' house. But my grandfather, rest in peace, he would always hate it when I would connect the PlayStation or the Nintendo to the TV.
Who here remembers like family parties? You're like, all right, there's definitely not going to be any video games there.
Oh no, man! That's the whole reason you go to family parties when you were a kid.
You got to stash your whatever video game console in a grocery store paper bag, and you're like, it's all like breaking because it's really heavy.
Oh my
and the handles are coming off.
Dude, I remember like, okay, my cousins. They know about this, or it's like I remember when my cousins when we were growing up, we loved summer, man, because like summer there's no school, and usually we just go to each other's houses and sleep over and play games like that. Like Super Smash Brothers, the first one when they came out. Dude, fuck, we would play that all the time. Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Like, dude, those were good times. And Mario Kart even. Mario Party, Mario Tennis. We had Nintendo 64s, so like that's pretty much most of the games that we played. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, they were good times.
Gosh,
man. They were great times.
No responsibilities. Now it's
no responsibilities, man.
It's like, man, I gotta like diversify my 401 so I can maximize. Man, like what?
I know it was way easier when we were kids and less to worry about. That's because people were worrying for you. But
that's true.
You can't do that forever.
We're adults now.
So we're adults. Yeah, man. Yeah. We're making our way through the world, and
it's cool to be a kid at heart. But sometimes I'm like, man, I'm such a serious guy. Sometimes I'm like, man. Well, it's only because like I try to hold a high standard for myself, try to pattern myself, not pattern myself like against the template that my folks, my parents set forth for me. Obviously they wanted me to do better, but it's like, different standards for different people,
like we all come from different places, like we've all come from different backgrounds. No, it's easy to generalize and say that Asians are they want you to focus on school or good at math and whatever. We all come from different places and different backgrounds, but it's like that's the part about humanity that I think is cool, is that we're not all the same. But there's some people who like to look at that as like, oh, because we're not the same, because you're different, I have to treat you completely differently. And sometimes in a bad way.
Oh, sure.
Where it's like, oh, because you're of a particular ethnic background.
Yeah.
I got to treat you XYZ.
Yeah. We're definitely not going to delve too deep into social issues where folks might get offended. But man, there's to generalize the topic, there's been so many movements, and I just feel like so many movements that kind of span a lot of extremities, or really left or really right or whatever on the spectrum. In a way, all these new movements that have been kind of coming up here and there as the years pass have done less to unify, and they've done more to kind of like exclude. They've done more to kind of divide us. It's like, man, what the hell's going on, man? What the heck? In a way.
In some ways, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, very general. That's a very macro level.
And I understand why these people feel like they need to have these movements, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Man, this beer is actually pretty good. It's not as good as the Triple Carmelite, but
it's lighter, man. It's not. There's no fruit forwardness on this one. This one's dry.
It's a little on the dry side. Earlier. We got this off of a Total Wine.
Well, tell the people at home what happened when we were at Total Wine.
Oh, there was just a homeless guy. There was just a homeless guy that was just causing a ruckus, and I guess he had nothing better to do that day.
Maybe he was a regular.
Maybe he's a regular, because it looked like the manager was pretty heated. But I think the manager acted right, where he's just like, get out of my store. Or just like, the guy was,
he wasn't that physical. And then I think the guy in question was like, why did you hurt me? Why'd you hurt me?
Yeah.
But I don't think he didn't get hurt.
Like
he might have been under the influence too,
there are people out there who have no other business in the world other than to just make life harder for other people.
Yeah.
And that gives them pleasure in some sadistic way. Where even people, it could be as simple as like people just want to like cut you off on the freeway, and they're just like, oh, I'm just gonna make it difficult for you to get it where you need to go, or it could be like
down. She's like, come
on. And then slow down. Oh my gosh, dude. You see a lot of that here in LA. LA's just full of really shitty drivers.
Man, if I get this new job, man, my patience will be tested. Maybe it's either gonna make me a better driver or worse driver. I hope it's the former.
If you do go to downtown LA, that's a very extensive drive, man. So maybe not.
Let's not crash a Lexus. It's not paid off yet, guys. I love my car so much. Not the fastest, not the most luxurious, but man, it's a great car.
It's a good combination of both.
I recommend it you're looking for an entry-level luxury sedan,
Hey, man.
kind of small.
I think you can't go wrong. I mean, most of the
Hey,
people...
Team Toyota for sure on this one.
Most of the people who would buy cars for the masses are usually buying something Japanese. At least here in LA. I think if you live somewhere else in the world, maybe you'd get something else. But at least I can just speak for what I see here.
Yeah.
A lot of the people I know who get like a regular commuter
It's
car
ubiquitous, man.
are like Toyota, Honda, because they're just
It's the same
reliable
level.
cars.
Yeah, it's
They're
the
just
same level.
reliable cars.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And it's just like if you get most people get a Toyota because, it's just a legendary, reliable brand. Which kind of dwindling in the past few years in my experience.
Same with Nissan. What's going on?
Nissan even more. Well, that's because Nissan is owned by Renault. Renault's like a French
You mentioned
company.
this.
Yeah, so like
That's the parent company, or
I think they have a stake in Nissan.
like a big stake?
Yeah,
like
so like they bought Nissan out, so that's why their quality's been really shoddy. Like
two thumbs down.
I think Nissan had it really good in the 90s when they had the 240 SX Sylvia,
Heck yeah,
S13 or whatever the
Doesn't
heck it's
Chris's
called.
brother? We know a guy that we'll plug them later. They own and run an independent car wash, like a detailing business. But yeah. I think Chris's brother owns a 240 SX.
Oh, that's
In
cool.
the back, yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, that's solid.
Yeah, man. So
There's like the difference between like the cast iron blocks of yesteryear, and now everyone's doing aluminum and like plastic intake plenums. I'm like, man, there's plastic everywhere in like every car.
Yeah,
It's like,
even
dude,
the intake
what the heck?
manifold is like plastic. It's
What?
just like.
Yeah.
But Nissan's just been really suffering in quality. I think the only real quality they put is into the GTR. You can YouTube this. I know it's a YouTubeable video because we've watched it, but there's a video where all they do is there's these guys that are like, I forget the actual Japanese term, it's something you could look up, but basically they just Google
take it apart?
GTR engine factory in Yokohama. I think it's.
Oh, they still make it there.
They still, the GTRs I think
Heck
exclusively made in Japan. But
Smack's
it makes
car
sense.
guys.
The guys who make that engine are all Japanese, and they are all, the Japanese are similar to the Germans, where when they make a product, it's really fucking good.
Or made to last, maybe, or
Made to perform at least to spec.
At least, yeah.
So when these guys they make the engine,
yeah.
oof, that's like some of the most.
That excites me.
To me, it's like great ASMR. You could Google this video where they make it. Or essentially what they're making is the engine. They're putting together the pistons and the crankshaft and all this stuff, and they test the engine. Oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But that's what I mean. It's like that's all they put emphasis on is the GTR. And to be honest, if you were to get only one Nissan, would you get anything other than the GTR?
Oh man,
like you wouldn't get a Sentra.
I was literally going to say that. They're all.
Why would you get a Sentra?
Nissan's all trying to hype up like, oh, we got the new Sentra Spec R type.
Okay, maybe you'd get the new Z series. The new Z series is going to look good.
When is that coming out? The 400Z.
I don't even know.
Look, it looks pretty cool. My aversion to it was like a very square back, but it grew on me, or whatever the concept. They might change it, obviously, but you know what? I really wanted that to be my first car, guys. 2006 Nissan 350Z, and at the dealer at Van Nuys Nissan, I was like, Mom, it's the same price as the Xterra. And we're at the dealer. It's like almost essentially the same price. And I was like, I have to get the Xterra. It's way cheaper.
I'd rather
Insurance
have
would
the
been cheap.
Xterra, bro.
Dude, I love
Xterra. Is
the Xterra.
just like he still has the Xterra.
Guys, it's literally right outside. But that's the last of its kind. They discoed that. They discontinued that in 2015 or I guess. But oh man, and then I have the last version. I drive the last version of the 2015. Basically the last Lexus IS that uses the 2.5 liter V6. Uh-huh. Everyone's doing the whole like car manufacturers are doing the sort of like small displacement four-cylinder engines with a turbo, and we'll call it a day. And obviously that's what for efficiency purposes. Obviously the turbo can kind of crank up engine output a little later, in the RPM range, but like. For some reason, I just can't subscribe to with the exception of like Subaru. I think Subaru has it down pretty damn well, I think. But I can't subscribe to the whole like buying a small displacement engine with a turbo. It's like I'm weary about longevity. I don't know what you guys drive, but like, man, I did not want to get the Lexus with the small 4 with the turbo. It's different, you know. I don't know.
Well, you know, eventually we're all going to be driving electric cars.
Oh man, no.
and all this stuff we argue about, like, I feel like it's just going to go down the drain.
I'm not down yet. I like hearing sounds. Tim and I have like modified exhaust or like, aftermarket stuff, and it's really cool to hear like, the engine sound.
I'm kind of a dinosaur in that way. I do
Me too.
internal combustion, and it's just been proven and it works. But I have a friend who has a Tesla. I have 2 friends who have Teslas.
Dude,
I actually
so
have
many
a few
friends
friends
with
who have
Teslas, man.
Teslas. Yeah,
Seriously.
Just like off the top of my head, like I've ridden in like a million Teslas.
Yeah, dude, that thing is
so to
fast.
speak. It's ridiculously fast.
The torque is just
I don't understand
instant.
how people want to get like a Mercedes E-Class or a BMW 5 Series.
Yeah.
And then you look over a Tesla Model 3. No, you don't even have to go S. S would probably be like Mercedes S-Class, maybe BMW 7 Series.
7 Series,
But
or like M whatever.
Yeah, no, because what I'm thinking is like, I look at a Tesla Model 3, James.
Yeah.
He has, one of our friends.
Jim Boy.
Yeah, Jim Boy. He has a Tesla Model 3. And I look at that car and it's like, it looks sleek. It looks dope.
Base?
It has leather seats.
I
don't know if it's the base model, but it could go toe-to-toe to me with a Mercedes E-Class. Like, I've ridden in a Mercedes E-Class.
Yeah.
It's a nice car, you know. BMW
Wait, as
5
far as like appointments and like the whole luxury aspect?
Yeah, because it's like, what are you looking for? Leather seats and all this stuff. Leather seats, air conditioning. I don't know what the heck. But the thing about that Model 3 is that it's so good. It's just so good for the money.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you don't have to spend a dime on gasoline.
You just charge it, man.
You charge it at a Tesla charging station or home if you have like a 240 volt charger.
Yeah.
Which is like
And you
more
can get
money
the conversion
install.
to it, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We know a guy, a mutual friend, that he works, I guess, for the city. But, man, he charges his car at work. Like, man, that's easy. No names will be named. No names will be named at the moment.
Right now, we're not going to talk about that. But he can talk about it if he comes on here and talks about it.
And the same guy
Well,
has a house, and he hadn't paid a power bill in like months.
I wonder if it's who he works for. But anyway,
That's funny.
enough of that.
Yeah,
But basically, I think those Teslas.
Yeah.
I think that's the future, man. And Tesla is bleeding edge. Not necessarily bleeding edge, but like right now they're at the forefront of this like electric car revolution.
I'm curious because who preceded Tesla in the sort of what's the word I'm looking for, like normalization or whatever? But who preceded Tesla in electric vehicles? Like Honda had some stuff before, and then Toyota did. Nissan did too. Nissan Leaf, Toyota Mirai.
That's right. The Mirai is hydrogen though.
Oh, cancel that.
It's not actually electric. It's hydrogen.
Maybe it does have like an electric counterpart though.
So no, because like the Mirai works as hydrogen. Again, this is YouTubeable. I'm no expert, but the way hydrogen works is you pump it with hydrogen, and what it does is the process of using hydrogen, because hydrogen is like the lightest atom. Right,
Yep.
It's like number 1
in the periodic table.
Yeah, in the periodic table, and it only has 1 electron to give. So you put it in this system where it separates that 1 electron to another side, and what it does is it separates that electron and then it brings it back. And that bringing back is how you get the energy.
And then what's the output? The byproduct
and the output is water. Exactly. So it's like, in theory, really clean. I mean, I wouldn't drink it. If it's coming out of a tailpipe, I don't know. I don't trust that. But the whole point here is that it is clean.
Yeah.
So that there is
emissions.
technology. You could YouTube a bunch of this stuff. I'm no expert. A lot of the stuff I know is off YouTube University.
Dude,
man.
I remember. Okay, 5th grade, whatever year that is. And then definitely early 2000s for me. And there was like we were doing a science project on current events of the world, whatever. And I think the current event that was being talked about in class was, in the year 2008, maybe 2010 or between the years of 2008 and 2010, there will be hydrogen powered cars. And I think in that year, it was in its infancy, but like, man, like technology is really has like some sort of exponential, like, at least in the like hydrogen and electric car industry, like some exponential growth. And that's going to be the new norm, guys. I still want to keep my gas car as long as I can.
You know what I'm thinking is that by the time we reach 2035, which I think the rule is California can no longer sell
but you can own and operate them.
You can own and operate ones you already have.
Dude.
They're just saying like from that point forward, you're not going to be able to have any more. I'm pretty sure that rule is going to change. That's just how politics works.
Oh, of course.
But like, let's say it doesn't, right? From that point on, every single used car or car that's used up until that point is going to be worth more because you can't get any more.
You mean all the internal combustion gas ones are going to be
so like
diesel? Even,
yeah. Even diesel's technically still internal combustion.
Yeah,
it's simply the way it works.
Yeah, just a different.
You can Google that too.
Different fuel.
yeah, just different fuel, but it's roughly the same process. But anyway, so like. That's why it's pushing these companies to make more like electric-friendly vehicles.
Oh, man.
That's why every company has at least one right now, and they're usually in the form of an SUV. Why? Because like a lot of people have families.
You're right.
Like a lot of people are starting family or have need for utility.
Yeah.
Whether it's sport utility or family utility, whatever have you. That's why there's this huge push.
They've got these hybrid trucks, not hybrid, but all electric trucks. I forget. I think it was Chevy. Ford has one.
Chevy's doing it through the Hummer. The Hummer's all electric.
Tesla obviously
truck.
has the one that looks like a rough draft, like a kid drew it.
It's like a guy drew it with only a ruler, and that was it. And it's just like fun. It's a funny design.
Our buddy in question that has the power thing. I think he's on the waiting list. But
hey, I would love to see it. I would like to see it in person. I may not buy one, but I would love to see it.
I'd like to see one too.
I'd like to see it. I'd possibly even like to ride in it. I want to see what the practicality of it is, though. Because what if it's like it's completely impractical?
How you can't even put it. Well, it's a truck, so I guess you could put stuff in it. But
yeah,
I wonder how aerodynamic it is because it just looks like all those straight angles.
Yeah,
not bagging on Elon Musk. I'm sure he definitely knows what he's doing or has people that work for him. All the subordinates, all the smart guys are doing a lot of the work, I'd imagine. But that's how business works. You just hire people that know more than you, and they do all the work. Most of the work, rather.
That
happens.
It does happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know anything about that, but. I wouldn't. I'm no expert. Rather, I'm just another cog in the system. I don't want to be, but I am.
Yeah, man.
It's good beer.
Good beer.
We got 5 minutes up before we wrap this up. For our first podcast. I guess we're not really going to be talking too much.
Thanks for listening. If you guys have been listening already.
Yeah, man. If you guys have been listening, we really appreciate it. This is our first podcast. We don't really have like a whole lot to work with. In terms of whatever, but we're planning to bring some more people on and to talk, and we'll see. It'll probably be a weekend thing.
Yeah,
if anything, it'll be like a Saturday. Yeah, we all have jobs. We all have stuff. If it's something we can do in the afternoon like this, we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we would like to bring in guests. We'll probably have another one maybe next Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do for our next guest, and we'll go from there. But
welcome. Thanks.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for the first one. We want to have good quality audio and obviously good quality video.
Yeah, check one too.
So that's what we focus on here, and it's like maybe it's just something you listen to while you're in the car on your way to and from work. We won't make it any longer than an hour if it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
We go from there.
The human attention span these days has been diminishing.
Yeah, but like some people have podcasts that are super long. Like 3 hours, but it's like
what?
I will listen to them, but it's not like I can listen to them in one drive. My commute is not 3 hours,
right?
You combined.
It depends on the subject content, I guess. But I guess we'll be open to suggestions, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to join, I have a few guests lined up. So I'm pretty sure they would like to come here and talk anything, sports, beer, life, politics, maybe even music definitely.
Sure,
I mean, obviously we're musicians. That's the whole reason why we have this podcast is because we're musicians. And we want to talk about music, but our album's out. Go listen to it.
Check it out. That's our first one.
That's our first album. We have 5 songs. I know it's not a whole lot, but in the pandemic, what could you do? So we'll be coming out with more songs eventually. But in the meantime, it's just going to be us, and we're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you in the next podcast. Yeah. So
thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. So, all right, we're out. You all have a good one. Drive safe. If you're listening to this on the car.
Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon.
Have
a great night, even.
It's like that Truman Show. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
That's what he said.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, y'all.